Hi there and welcome to the Carpe Diem conversation show, where we have conversations with real people who share their real life stories about getting more out of life by integrating work and life as one. And we started tonight's show off with a bit of a glitch, but we're back on board now. So welcome back to all the people that join us every week. Thank you so much for your support. And for anyone out there that's joined us for the first time, welcome too. Just a reminder, this is a conversation and I absolutely encourage you to join the conversation. If you have questions, want to bring something up, please type them in the comments and we'll get to them towards the end of the show. So please do that. Okay, so tonight's conversation is very much working from anywhere style, because our special guest, Justine Cox, is up north, working from anywhere in her caravan, integrating work and life as one. And I'm here in Canberra at a place called Rotary House, which is accommodation for regional people, visitors, for people that are visiting the hospital up here, Calvary Hospital. My partner Jenny is actually getting a brand new knee this afternoon. She's still getting it. So I've been able to bring Jenny up here and still, while she's having surgery, get on with doing a bit of work. And most importantly, be there for when she comes out. So without any further ado, let's bring our guest on. I'll bring her. Hey, Justine, how you going?
Hi, Andy. How are you?
Good. I forgot to do your intro, but I'll do the intro while you're with us, which is fine because it's a live show. Justine believes that mastering your personal leadership is the key to success. Justine works with small to medium business leaders to discover their purpose, which is super important. She puts a plan in place and, most importantly, understands the behaviours and habits that will support you to achieve your goals. So Justine is a leadership specialist who provides workshop planning processes and coaching support. How'd I go?
Pretty good, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that what you do?
That's what I do.
So first up, where are you? Besides in your caravan?
Yeah, well, I'm sitting in the caravan. Where I'm at Cotton Tree Caravan Park, which is on the Sunshine Coast.
Okay. And you've been there for just over a week?
10 days. We actually leave tomorrow. We're heading down to Hastings Point, which is just south of Tweeds Heads, for 5 days. And then we've got about 6 nights in Port Macquarie, and then we'll make our way back to Mollymook Beach, which is where I live.
And it is a integrated work and life trip. It's not a holiday, this one. You made a choice to actually work from anywhere?
Yeah, so this is definitely not a holiday. This one's a working trip. So I basically carve out time out of the day to do work. And then I'm with my partner, and we did have his son here with us. He's gone back to school, but we also have our 3-year-old. So yeah, we manage that by, I use time blocking in my diary, and I've got a VA who helps me manage all the appointments and get the times right. So far, so good.
Awesome. And that's what it's all about. It's about making the choice about, and we discussed it last week, and it's something that I brought up last week about separating a holiday from working from anywhere. And you've made the choice that this is actually the integrating work and life, and you have holidays which are holidays.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is the first integrated break that I've taken since I was in France with you guys. So I'm putting what I learnt into practice.
Awesome. Now, I know all about you, or a fair bit about you, but some of the people in the audience might not. So tell us about Justine Cox and what you do, who you do it for.
Yeah. So my business is called Leaders Change Room. And I started the business about 2.5 years ago. And that was following the birth of my son. So I had a very successful corporate career. Actually started in hospitality, but I spent the majority of my career in human resources and people and culture, working at the executive level. Loved it. Actually didn't think I would have a family. I really loved working. I traveled a lot. I had a great life. And then when I decided to have a baby, and then Nash came along, I was preparing to go back to work and realized that potentially my my old life was not going to fit my new life. So traditionally, because I managed large teams and worked in bigger organizations, my roles included a lot of travel, and it just wasn't going to work. So I started Leaders Change Room. Originally, I started not really having a very clear picture of what I wanted to do, and it's been a bit of a journey, and it's evolved, but I'm eternally grateful because it's doing really well. And I slowly start to, I've really refined what I do. I've got a real passion around purpose-driven businesses and leadership. So combining those two things together to help leaders has been, it makes me smile every day. So, and then, thinking about life, and I always love to travel. So when I met you and started to learn about what you did, I wanted to really make sure that we could be flexible with the business, because that's part of having a business, is that you don't have to live by somebody else's rules. And that's why I joined the retreat.
Fantastic. And it wasn't always like that, though. Back when we first met, or before we first met, in the early days of your business, and it's always tough to start a business, but how tough was it as a mother and juggling, like building a new business, juggling the time?
Yeah, that's still tough, to be honest. I love my son, but I love to work. And if I do something, I tend to be all in. So getting a good balance is a constant challenge for me. But yeah, at the beginning, it was a little bit easier because he was not quite one when I first started planning the business. So he still slept a lot. It's probably much harder now with a 3-year-old because he's busier and he needs more of me and more attention. So I really have to be much more effective with my time. But yeah, it's been a lot of late nights, early mornings, working around things. It's not like when you've got a job without any other responsibilities, you can go in, close the door, and that's it. Kind of managing all the things around it. And it's been a challenge, but it's been awesome.
Yeah. And I know at one point you were saying one of the challenges, and correct me if I'm wrong, was the admin side of the business. I know you love working with people. That's what lights your heart. And but what it meant was the admin side. When you're a sole operator, you still have to do that side of it. It takes up a lot of time. And I think you mentioned that took up a lot of your weekend time. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that knows me will know that I do not love administration. And, in a corporate life, I had teams and support staff to be able to handle that for me. IT departments who could help out, and finance departments. And then when you start on your own, it's all you. And I do not love admin, and it really drains my energy. And I was finding that I was spending most of my weekends with the laptop open somewhere in the house, trying to get it done in between, or waiting till Nash went to bed and staying up till midnight to try and get it done so I could be there present for clients in the morning. And that was a real juggle for me, and I didn't love it. I've got to be honest.
Yeah. And so how is it now? What's changed now?
Well, now I have the beautiful Mena. So her full name is Carmena, but she likes to be called Mena, and she's my virtual assistant. Now, she lives in the Philippines. We have a weekly Zoom meeting, which we had this morning, and she helps me stay on top of everything. It's been probably twofold having Mena. Firstly, it gives me somebody to do some of that follow-up work, scheduling appointments and typing up notes and making sure the diary's working and those kind of things. The other side is I had to actually start thinking about, well, how do I do things if I'm going to give it off to somebody else? So really, I've spent this year trying to systematize the business, which highlighted a lot of places where I wasn't being effective and I was doubly handling pieces of work. I like to be fairly creative, but that can mean that you are constantly creating something new instead of using what was really good and maybe just, modifying it. So that's really helped me. The other thing is it holds me a little bit accountable, because every week we get on a call and I give her a check-in on where I'm up to with all the clients so that she knows then what follow-up she needs to do. So it's been fantastic, and I don't think I would have been able to have this trip and carve out as much time for family if I didn't have her.
Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, we did work through you were part of the Work From Anywhere program, which finished with the retreat. And a big part of that was, and you bring up a really good point, you can't delegate to someone if you don't have the processes in place. And I still remember the day we spoke and you said, oh, I'm getting Mena for 20 hours a week. I don't think I've got enough for her to do. Tell me about that conversation.
Yeah, I tend to follow my intuition with things. And when you first started talking about the VA, that was back probably last November, December. And I dismissed it straight away. I was like, it's just me. I'm not big enough. What would I have her to do? She can't do what I do. And then we had another couple of conversations and I kind of reflected on it a little bit. And by about February, I thought, no, actually, I think I can make this work. And I'm good at delegating because I've done that my whole life. Then I found out that I had to have her 20 hours a week. And in my head, I was thinking, I'll just get her for 5 hours, but that's not how it works. So at the beginning, I did struggle a little bit because I probably didn't go in with enough idea of what I could give her. But it turns out she's highly capable. And I can get her to do a lot of the research. So some of what I do is business planning. And so that requires researching the sector or the external market. I've been able to help her do PESTLE analyses and SWOTs, a whole heap of things that she's loving and learning. And she's doing the groundwork. And then I'm able to come in and, refine it over the top. And it's been amazing. I could probably have her full time, to be fair, because there's so much there that we could be doing. So, yeah, that's definitely changed.
Yeah, okay. And key to that was having those systems in place, because I think what changed there was your mindset changed around, you looked at everything you've done and thought, oh, hang on a minute, I can actually make a process of that. And that's what you said to me. I can create a process and delegate that. And that was a big thing.
Yeah, I think I tell you, one of the things that's been probably one of the absolute biggest benefits of having her is the client experience. So actually mapping out what support I can give to the client, what absolutely needs me, and what is just like a follow-up or so mapping that process out, and how many will we contact them every week? What will we talk about? How will we plan the next session? How do I give them feedback easily? How do we help them to be accountable and to actually follow through on the things, their commitments? And Man has been key to that because, as I said, she holds me accountable, but she holds the process for me and says, hey, Justine, you haven't contacted this person this week. They're due this email. You're due to follow up with this. So the clients are definitely getting a better experience, and I don't have to think about it. Because it looked a lot like Saturday mornings, me sitting down going, okay, what did I say was going to do all week? Sometimes I took good notes, sometimes I didn't. What was I supposed to do? And really trying to rack my brain. This way I capture it. She's helped me put in templates to capture it. And yeah, so much easier and takes up much less headspace for me.
Awesome. We've got Christiane there saying you're an inspiration.
Hi,
can you see that one? And you've got another fan there, Candace, agreeing.
Thank you, Candace.
So on that, so key to that is, and this sort of goes to the next point I want to make, and that's probably the difference between remote working and integrating work and life as one. What having Mena does for you, it actually gives you 20 hours a week back. Will you call it, as well as enhancing what you're doing, it also gives you that time back. So now when you're in the caravan, you don't have to have the laptop. You can allocate time. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, she probably gives me back 30 hours a week, to be honest, because she does some of that the administrative tasks much quicker than I would, and she's doing it over and over again, where I was doing it in between things. So having to multitask and switch was difficult. But yeah, this trip in this caravan, there was a real clincher for us. We went away for a 3-week holiday in the caravan to Nelligan, which is just near home. last January, and it was going to be the holiday for the year. But in true Justine style, I thought, I'm going to have all this time. I'll save up all this work that I haven't been able to do. And I saved it up, and I worked more in those 3 weeks than I would normally work. And I got towards the end of the second week, and Darren said to me, he's my partner, enough. You haven't had any break. You know, you're testy, you're doing things in between everything. You haven't given us your attention. You're not present. You need to tell me how long you need. I said, I've probably got 2 days of work. He said, I want you to go away from the van, like 2 days in a row, come back, and I don't want you to open the computer. And that's where I thought, what am I doing? Like, this is not a break. I'm working harder than ever. So this time we've agreed to times. So I get up early, sometimes at 6, sometimes at 7. I'll work for 3 or 4 hours, and then I stop and I close the computer, I put it away, and I don't get it out again. Or I might do a 3-hour block in the afternoon, but we agree, Darren and I agree up front. He has Nash, and they go and do fun stuff. I work, and then I'm free to actually think about them and be present for them. And that's been a huge shift. Huge.
We had plenty of conversations in the French Alps with our retreat group. How was it working with a group? Was that important? Was that beneficial? Because we worked as a group together, which you guys you only knew each other by video call, then you all met up in the French Alps, so you knew each other. How key was that to have that support from other business owners in the same situation?
Crucial. Like, it's really lonely when you're on your own a lot. And I, like you say, I love people. I get my energy from being around people. So being able to have a group of people that I could toss things around with, that you could share challenges, that were having the similar experience to you, was amazing. And I am eternally grateful to you, Andy, for bringing us together. Hi, Simone. Because, and I actually, a couple of times I've expressed I really miss them because
No.
we just gelled really well, and we're having a catch up next year. So it wouldn't have been the same without that. I learned, like, it was great to do the mastermind and put things in place. And I think I said to you, I went away to that retreat thinking that I understood working from anywhere and that I had it pretty much covered. I mean, I've worked remotely even before this business for about 10 years. So I was comfortable actually being able to work from anywhere, but I didn't get integrating life and work as one. That was the missing piece. And because of the group and the bond that we formed and the openness of the conversation, I got that in the Alps.
Yeah, it was an amazing week. It was full of emotion, but lifelong friends. It was really, it was very, very special. We're doing it all again. You'll have to come back.
I'm thinking about it seriously. I don't know if Darren will let me go again, but it was truly amazing. You know, the mindset shift that I had over there. And like I said, it's made this trip different. You know, I'm able to be present. I mean, Candice was there before. I've had time to spend with friends and be with Nash and watch him. You know, usually before, it was almost like he was a bit of a distraction to the work. So
here we go, Jennifer. Yes, come next year.
I might.
Jen is coming to the French Alps with us. Hey, Jen, how you going? Looking forward to you going over there. So what was your biggest challenge to get to this point?
I'll be totally honest. Realizing that my business didn't just revolve around me. Like, I honestly thought, I can't get a VA. I can't do this because it's all me. It's built mostly around my experience. And I realized that if I kept going that way, I really just had myself a job. I wasn't actually building a business, not something I could scale, not something I could leverage. And I'd never get off the tools. And so now, since coming back, I've actually booked in and got myself a mentor. I have a session booked for when I get back from the van, and we're actually going to start planning out what the next 12 to 2 years looks like, because I'm actually really excited about my business again. I got a bit caught in the grind of it. And now that I've got a bit more headspace and time, I'm really excited about what the next phase of Leaders Change Room will look like.
Yeah, and that's such a common thing. Business owners not being able to let go, thinking they have to be the business, and many business owners don't realise, and it must be. And I think you mentioned it in the French Alps. It was a weight off your shoulders. You feel lighter. I think your words were.
Absolutely, yeah, and it just like the business totally consumed me before that. Totally consumed nearly every minute, every thought. And now I actually can switch off from it, which I couldn't do before.
That's awesome. So, what's the biggest if there's one biggest difference it's made to your life?
I feel calmer. I feel
Awesome.
calmer.
Yeah. And for other business owners out there that potentially aren't quite there yet, what advice or would you recommend going down this path?
Absolutely. I think you need to stand back and, going through this and being in the Alps with everybody just gives you so much perspective that I wasn't expecting. You need to take some time to stand back and make a decision about what do you want for your business and then for your life. Because if you just want a job, there's probably easier ways to earn some money. To be honest, running a business is difficult. You've got to want to build a business. And that means you constantly need to challenge yourself and think about things differently. But it can't be your whole life.
Yeah,
A couple of other things that happened early last year is I lost a couple of people that were a similar age to me. And it really made me to start to go, hold on, what are you doing here? I do love what I do, but I was getting consumed by it. And I have so much more energy for the business now. I take time out to do Pilates, on what I would normally deem a work day. But I'd never do that before. So yeah, and I'm there for Nash. I'm much more present for him. Darren's happier, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, win-win-win, and that's what integration is all about. It's not just about the French Alps and the big dreams. It's about the day-to-day life. It's more about the day-to-day life.
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, audience out there, Karen's piped up with such a good insight.
Oh, hi, Karen.
Has anyone got any questions for Justine? Speak up, throw them out there. Very keen to answer them, I'm sure, aren't you, Justine?
I'm usually the one asking the questions, Andy.
So how's the weather up there? Got any rain happening?
We've had all seasons. We've had storms. We've had beautiful sunny weather. At the moment, it's quite windy. So the caravan is quiet because Daz has taken Nash for a walk. I was going to let him sit in, but I thought it might be a bit distracting. But I wanted to sit outside, but it's just too windy. So, but it's been in the 20s every day, and it's amazing. It's amazing to think that I can work from here.
Yeah.
And the business still runs. I have still got income coming in, and yet here I am, living life and spending time with family, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Carpe Diem, indeed.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got no questions, so yeah, we might wrap it up here. Before you go, where can people find you who might need your help?
Yeah,
I will add some links in the comments later. But yeah, where can they find you?
Well, you can go to www.leaderschangeroom.com and check us out. Otherwise, I got a LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, all with Leaders Change Room or Justine Cox.
Okay, well, I'll share those links. But here we go. Karen's come good. How are you managing any guilt over time for you? Hard for someone from a corporate background. Karen has been from a corporate background too, and I know you guys had conversations in France.
Yeah, guilt. Now I don't just have work guilt, I have mummy guilt too, which is a real thing that I wasn't expecting. How am I managed? Karen, that's a great question. I now I think it really was the mindset shift between having a job and owning a business and running a business. And the business is not me. I think when you're in a corporate role, and for me, I have a really high work ethic, and I always wanted to do the best that I can, and I loved what I did. But it's all about you. But in a business, the business needs to be separate to you. And so I've started to see my business as an entity and not just an attachment of me. And I think that's actually really helped. And that started to happen in the French Alps, because I started to really think about, well, what would the future hold? Like, if I want to sell it, what am I selling if it's just me? It needs to be its own thing, separate to me, and then I can have me, and then I can have the business. And I think that has really helped. There's a book, The E-Myth, Michael Gerber, and I'd read that in the past prior to doing your mastermind, Andy, and it didn't really resonate with me. And when I started doing your mastermind, I reread it, and he says in there that you should approach your business as if you are going to one day franchise it, even if you never do. And that started to trigger some thought. And then when I got to the Alps and we had those amazing conversations, it's really started to crystallize for me. And I think that's been the difference.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. It's good when the penny drops, and especially when you have that headspace and to actually step back, which we really did in the French Alps. You not only stepped back, but we also had, some other people in similar situations to actually bounce conversations off.
Yeah, the support from the group was amazing, because it is quite personal, and I did get emotional thinking about some of the choices that I had been making that didn't sit well with me, but I couldn't see another way, and now I can.
Yeah, fantastic. I've just got a message from my sister saying some of these questions are slow to load. That's why they're not really asking questions. They're just slow to load through Facebook. Now, Candace doesn't have a question. She's just saying, keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. Justine was a great leader and mentor to me. There you go.
Thank you, Candace.
If anyone else needs help there, we'll post those links. Now, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Justine, and thank you to everybody out there for joining this conversation. It's been a fantastic conversation. I've been looking forward to this one. And I'm glad Karen's commented, because next week, our special guest is someone I've known literally my whole life, and it's Karen. Karen, who's going to share a bit about her corporate life and now her life, corporate life of traveling the world, and now a life where she works from anywhere from Bali. Looking forward to that too. So thank you, Justine. Stay on and we'll have a chat. And thank you to everybody else out there. Good evening, and Carpe Diem, as always.
Thank you.
See you next week. See if I can get this one happening.